Welcome to Culture Alchemy, where we do a deep dive into film, TV, music, and the stories and trends lighting up the group chat. We'll discuss what it means, why it matters, and how it shapes us. I'm Antoinette.
And I'm Andrew. Each week we've got pop culture's hottest takes served fresh. We're turning pop culture into pure gold. This is Culture Alchemy.
All right. Well, here we are again, Andrew. And I don't know about you, but 2025, I was just saying to a friend the other day that it's flown by.
Yeah.
And also it couldn't leave quicker enough. I feel like it's been a lot. And we'd be remiss not to look in the rear view before we bid the year adieu. So today we're going to break down the stories that had us talking. And I guess first up, you know, I think we have to discuss a story that has really shaken up Hollywood. It's the death of Rob Reiner. So Rob and Michelle were found dead at their LA home on December 14th, and their son Nick has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder in connection with their deaths. And Rob Reiner's circle is wide and eclectic. I mean, he's got comedians, Oscar-winning actors, and filmmakers. The tributes poured in this week, and there was one that was really touching from Billy Crystal and crew. He said, basically absorbing all that he learned from his father Carl and his mentor Norman Lear, Rob Reiner not only was a great comedic actor, he became a master storyteller. There is no other director who has his range. From comedy to drama to mockumentary to documentary, he was always at the top of his game. He charmed audiences, they trusted him, and they lined up to see his films. So that was Billy Crystal, Albert Brooks, Larry David, and a few others as well, who released a joint statement on social media earlier this week. And I guess my question is, Andrew, how will you remember Rob Reiner, and what do you think his legacy will be?
Yeah, I was actually like gutted when I heard I didn't realize the impact he had on me growing up and his films and his he was one of the great American directors, I would say, and he his filmography is like I wouldn't say he's like an auteur director because he had like all his films were so different, but he had some of the best like one of the best romantic comedies ever. He had one of the best fantasy movies ever. He had one of the best courtroom dramas ever. So that was a romantic comedy. Was When Harry Met Sally, which is one of my all-time favorites. The Princess Bride is a lot of people's favorite as well. It's a classic, as well as A Few Good Men is a classic courtroom drama. And he was really known for getting that vulnerability and like raising the emotion of his cast. I think that's one of the things he was known for. Like Meg Ryan's performance, the iconic orgasm scene in
Mm,
When Harry Met Sally, and
right.
Tom Cruise and A Few Good Men, and just like he's also had a lot of cameos in a lot of classic films too. Like most recently, Wolf on Wall Street. He played he played the dad who was wondering why all these charges. Or no, I'm not the dad. He played I believe their accountant. Who why were they getting all these charges for their appetizers in that famous scene with Jonah Hill and Leo? And he really got this vulnerability from his talents and. Uh, he he put a lot of great films into our culture. Yeah.
Yeah, well said. Well said. I think you said something that I was really thinking. I was also really like viscerally upset when I heard about it,
Hmm.
because he is so important, right, to film
Hmm.
and to adolescents. Like I think about what you just said about he was really um, he directed so many films that had these pivotal adolescent moments for me. Like I think
Yeah.
about Stand By Me, I think about Princess Bride. You've mentioned so many great films, and of course a new audience of people that would have discovered him when he was on The New Girl as well. So like he's got such a range. And one thing that I think about with him and his
Hmm.
legacy is exactly what you said, and what Billy Crystal was saying was that he's a master storyteller. Like you said it really well when you said you think about rom-com, he's in the conversation, right?
Yeah,
One of the
one of
greatest
the
maybe of all time, actually.
yeah,
He kind of was a template. You think about courtroom dramas. You can't handle the truth is like one of the most iconic lines in cinema. So he's in that mix too. You talk about mockumentaries. Spinal Tap is one of the funniest movies ever. Like he's in
yeah,
that mix too. He's good at all of it. Princess Bride is one of my favorite movies ever. I recently just went and saw it with the symphony playing, and it was incredible. And it's one of the few things where I looked around and I thought, damn, like it's very rare that you see like a 10-year-old at the symphony no less with like an
yeah,
80-year-old sitting next to them and everything in between. And that's the power of Rob Reiner, right? Like
yeah,
he really was great at capturing a moment. So yeah, huge tragic loss. And of course, obviously the way it went down is both confusing and tragic. And I think
yeah. And when you look at his
yeah.
influence, I'm glad you mentioned Spinal Tap. Like Seth Meyers
Mhm.
recently said that was a big influence on him to get into comedy, and that movie influenced. I think that was one of the first, if not the first, mockumentary type films,
Yep.
and it
Yep.
influenced so many films after that. Just like when Harry Met Sally, really like built the rom com, uh, and with Nora Ephron was the writer of When Harry Met Sally as well.
Yep.
And
One of my favorites.
it was actually I read recently. It was based on Billy Crystal is Rob Reiner's best friend. You mentioned
Mm.
that quote, and it was kind of based on their relationship, and it was also, from what I understand, Rob Reiner came up with the concept. He was just getting out of a relationship, and it was his challenging it was him getting back into the dating scene and the struggles of the dating scene. And then he wanted to get the female perspective, and that's why he collaborated with Nora Ephron, who provided that female side of the film with Meg Ryan's character. Yeah,
Oh, that's so interesting. I
yeah.
I also heard something about so Michelle, obviously his wife, his late wife. I heard something about the ending of Harry Met Sally being changed
Oh
because
wow.
Michelle told him, yeah, because of he met Michelle and
Yeah.
fell in love with Michelle, and then he changed the ending. So I don't think they were supposed to be together actually. And then
Oh
he met her
wow.
and he was like, right, that's what I heard. I heard
Oh,
that it's
that
like
is
they fell in
interesting.
love.
Yeah.
Right. So he changed the perspective and was like, actually, let's have them get together. So I think that's actually quite interesting to hear also that Nora Ephron was like which it makes complete sense. I think she's a brilliant writer. I love her work and just her sensibility. So yeah, that makes sense. It's kind of a perfect rom-com. And that now that you're saying that, that comes full circle for me. It really makes sense because he had so much of himself in it. He cast the people that he knew could play it. He had friendships on the set. Like, yeah, he's just someone that I think a lot of people really respected and looked up to, and more over, he was a good person. I think that's what also makes this so gut wrenching for so many in Hollywood. But I want to go back to what you were also saying because you mentioned so many great movies of his. And if I think about and just run down the list, Princess Bride, I
Yeah.
can think of so many quotes from that that are still quotable today. Harry Met Sally, obviously the iconic scene in the cafe. Everyone knows something about that. Also, this is Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
Like even if you haven't seen it, it's hilarious. But even if you haven't, we know lines from that too, like turn it to 11. That's that like it's iconic stuff. And then I think about like the fact that a whole new audience of people are probably going to discover him now as well. Unfortunately, because of this. But
And
man, his
two other films we didn't mention too, both by Stephen King. Misery was one of that movie traumatized me when I was a kid, and Stand by Me is one of
oh,
the greatest coming of age films ever. Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely. That's
yeah,
one that I think is yeah, it's in the top 100, I think, of cinema. Like it is so classic for a reason. And so
yeah. And
um,
Quentin Tarantino, he talked about his favorite movies recently, and he said a quote which I think really applies to Rob Reiner, and I hope a lot of people go back and visit Rob Reiner's films. Quentin Tarantino said recently he talked about movies like Good Hangs. They become like your surrogate friend that you continue to go back to, and they're timeless, right? And when you look at his films, like each one of his films, like I would love to go back to it, and it's like a part of my of you know, it's like that good friend that you keep going back to hang out, and it's just to revisit, and it's just a great filmmaker, and yeah, he influenced so many people and so many films, and he was beloved in the Hollywood community as well. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. And speaking of that, in related news, he definitely was beloved. In fact, SNL just gave a
yeah.
little nod to Reiner on the December 20th episode with host Ariana Grande. It was a great show. By
Oh
the way,
wow.
lots of it was fantastic. Lots of singing segments. Of course, they used her instrument to the full effect. It was also another one of those annual traditions that the Weekend Update hosts. Obviously, Colin Jost and Michael Che always do every year. They read each other's jokes. They did
Oh
the same
yeah, I
thing.
missed.
Yeah, same thing this year, except Che did not tell Colin to prep any jokes for him. He said he wasn't going to do it, and then he ambushed him on the show and gave Colin his jokes only. So Colin was then kind of backed into a corner to read another joke that took a hit at his wife Scarlett Johansson and her menopause. So it was kind of like it was hilarious. But more so, and why I bring it up now is because it was hilarious. It had all the feels, all the laughs, but it also had a lot of big emotions because in addition to the last episode for Bowen Yang,
Yeah,
it was also at the end where they just kind of showed a title card for Rob
yeah.
Reiner that you remember like how huge his impact was. He was the third ever host of the show. So
Oh
he's
wow.
got a long history with the show, a long history, like you said, with a lot of the people that made the show what it was. So it was, yeah, it was very touching and it was a great episode. Ariana, I mean, she just crushed it. But with Bowen Yang, what I want to
Mm-hmm.
ask you about this, it was really interesting. A lot of people were kind of surprised, maybe like, well, why now? Why not earlier? Why not later? You're at kind of the top of your game.
Yeah,
And he basically kind of, I'm paraphrasing him, but he basically said, um, I love everybody here, but I want to leave now because I'm at the top of my game. Right. And
yeah.
so, yeah. And so I'm really curious to know, like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, what does it actually mean to go out on the top of your game? And do you think it's always best to go out when you're ahead?
Yeah, I think it. I was actually surprised when I saw that clip. I saw that. I just saw the clip of it when he met Ariana Grande and they became really close, and it was. It looked like it was an emotional, goodbye at the end of SNL, and he is going out on top for sure. And as far as I like to see people go on top instead of like just kind of like a slow decline, you know. Um,
Mm,
Jerry Seinfeld, he went out on top. You know, his show was top of the ratings, and they offered him so much money to continue his show, but he wanted to go on top. And I think that's kind of that's your legacy that you've built, and I think that's the best way to go out when you're on top of your game, and you maybe pursue other things as well. But like, it's not like he's going to, it's he's just going to continue at this pace if he stays on SNL, and I think he wants to grow as well as an artist too. He just came
yeah,
off Wicked, right? The success of Wicked, which he was in, and he has a successful podcast as well, from what I
yeah.
understand. And
Alchemy.
yeah, I love to see him in more stuff. I'm curious to see where he goes from here. Yeah,
Me too. Sky's the limit for this guy because he can
yeah,
do a lot of different things. He's got a lot of gifts. I agree. I think sometimes it's better to go out when you're ahead and like before people start to want you to go away. It's like you're staying a little bit too long. So I think
yeah,
that's great. Yeah, we'll see what happens with Bowen Yang, but certainly we're going to be seeing him again on our maybe on our TVs. And since we're talking about TV, I think we are going to pivot now to talk about the TV that kept us
yeah,
glued to our screens in 2025. And um, I want to put a little disclaimer out here for the Alchemist at this point, because I mean, I have no idea how much TV everyone has been watching this year. And to your earlier point, Andrew, I think a lot of people went to things that were familiar or like there
yeah,
was a nostalgia around TV as well as film this year. But I definitely know we're gonna miss some things that others will be shocked not to hear on our list. So this is not an exhaustive list. This is our, obviously according to us, our best of the year. But if we want to throw out honorable mentions, we can. I'm just gonna make this last note before I hand it over to you to kick us off, Andrew. I have not seen The Pit, or correction, I've seen about 10 minutes of The Pit. I know
Yeah,
someone's gonna scream at us that we did not mention The Pit. But I'm actually gonna try to watch that at some point, maybe during the break. Maybe just dipping my toe into one or two episodes because I keep hearing this, like the fan train just is like out of control. So I'm like, I got to get on
yeah,
this
I
thing.
gotta
I think
watch
it
it.
might be
Yeah.
excellent. So sorry, I'm not going to say The Pit. I'm going to give it an honorable shout out right now. But please, Alchemist, get at us in the chat. Let us know what shows kept you glued this year. And
Mhm.
I'm going to pass it on to Andrew to kick us off in no particular order. What were you stoked about on TV this year?
Yeah, there was so much TV; it was hard to keep up. So much
Mm,
great TV. Succession, one of the great shows.
wow.
Adolescence was one of my favorite shows of the year as well. And
Yeah.
but my top show is The Studio.
Oh,
I've watched The Studio twice now, and I'll probably watch it again. It's really a good hang for sure. It's I love Seth Rogen, and I thought it was just brilliant. Uh, lampooning the Hollywood system and these wild characters on edge and so many great scenes, including Zoe Kravitz.
yeah.
Accidentally eating the chocolate mushrooms at that party with
Yeah.
Franco, and yeah, that was a hilarious scene. And then the return of Stranger Things too. I mean, it's not finished yet, but speaking of nostalgia, there was years of a break between the last Stranger Things and then the final season, and I'm excited. The next batch comes out on Christmas, and I'm going to be glued to my TV for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, I know a lot of people are going to be definitely.
yeah,
That's event television, which is really cool too, to have something like that come back because it's so rare that we're all watching the same thing. And wow, you well, blast off, Andrew. I mean, you just gave us
so,
some great picks there. The studio was on my list as well too, so I knew you were going to mention it, but I had it there just in case. And you're so right. I think Seth Rogen actually was a big I mean, he had the studio, he had Platonic, he
hmm,
produced a couple other shows as well too,
platonic.
that were
Yeah.
out this year. Like, man, he had a monster year, but studio was oh, chef's kiss. Skewering and at the same time embracing
Hmm.
and spooning Hollywood too is kind of an interesting mix. I loved it. So great pick on that. And I also had to put Adolescence on my list. What a remarkable show! Like
Hmm.
Owen Cooper,
Yeah.
the 13 kind of a dynamo playing this 13-year-old boy who's kind of accused of murdering a classmate. It was chilling and haunting. And that one shot format, which actually, come to think of it, a oneer was also a big part of the studio plot line this year too. Just really captivating. It's disturbing as it probably should be too.
Hmm.
But man, oh man, solid performances all across. I think yeah, Adolescence definitely was one of the best shows on television this year. And before I pass it back over to you, because I've got a few
I,
things here.
I did forget
Um,
one
I
series,
know
I
what
should
show it's
say.
gonna be. I know what show it's gonna be. I have a feeling I know, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
actually not do that show because I think you're gonna bring up that show.
Yeah.
But I will say this other show that I know others are going to be on board with. I would lose sleep if I didn't say Severance. Severance this year
Hmm.
was some of the best television I've ever seen. Um,
Wow.
ever seen.
Mic
We waited 3 years
drop.
for it.
Okay.
Yeah, we waited 3 years for it, but it was worth the wait. Like it was incredible. If you know, you know, and I don't really have to expand upon it. I think it was just the breakthrough performances.
Hmm.
They cleaned up at almost every major award show as well too. The
Hmm.
visuals were striking, and the finale, it's just one that if you, yeah, the finale was just kind of spellbinding. And there's a scene with Adam Scott that reminds me how good an actor he is. Um, Doing kind of a Sinners thing where he's playing himself and his innie. And that scene is one of the best scenes I think that was on television this year,
Hmm.
hands down. I'll definitely go back and rewatch Severance again, if not just the finale, because it's wow, it's brilliant. So yeah, Severance for me, definitely got to throw that in there. And Shrinking as well, another Apple show.
Oh
Apple was
yeah.
crushing it this year. Great show. I got a few more, but I'm gonna pass it over to you because I think I know the show that you were gonna say. And if you don't say it, I'm gonna pick it
The
up.
other show I was glued to was Diddy. It was 50 Cent's
Hmm.
Diddy series. Okay. Uh,
Okay.
I knew he was I knew he was up to no good, and knew he was a horrible person, but I didn't. A lot of things shocked me in that series too, and apparently there's more. Diddy's going to release. 50 Cent's going to release more content over YouTube.
Mm.
But yeah, I just couldn't believe where it all started and how early it started, and yeah, before, like, I thought about, like, yeah, he could have allegedly killed Tupac, but I wasn't even thinking about. I didn't even know, his implications to the death of Biggie as well,
Hmm.
which they talk about in the documentary, and obviously it is biased, based on uh, you know. Uh, it is biased in a way, but a lot of it, it did happen, right? He did take that color cover of Rolling Stone after Biggie died. Um, he apparently made artists pay for his appearance in their music videos. He didn't pay them properly. There was a lot of, sexual accusations as well, and just so it's a wild series. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you mentioned it. I was actually going to mention it a little bit later. We're
Oh,
gonna circle
okay.
back to that
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
But I love that you preconditioned us for that convo because yeah, I couldn't look away. Like I devoured that thing. And to
yeah,
your point, I kind of knew Diddy, there've been murmurs about him in the industry for years about what he's been up to. And the only reason why I think it hasn't been more public is because there are too many other famous people that will be implicated. They know
yeah.
that there's a video out there somewhere of a variety of people that I know are like sweating a little.
Hmm.
So that's probably why so many people were partying with him for so long that we didn't really know the extent of his, I mean, kind of diabolical business dealings. And I was surprised by um, yeah, the Biggie thing. I I definitely felt like he's so involved in the Tupac thing. I've just always felt that.
Yeah,
And Biggie, I was surprised at how he treated Biggie. Like even in death, how stingy he was to not to charge his family's estate for the funeral, and then
yeah.
at the same time to be telling all of us that he was his best friend and mourning him and like writing singles about him and getting rich off his death.
And
It's disgusting.
forcing Faith Evans to perform,
Oh,
after she just lost Biggie, and yeah, the list goes on
truly.
and on about all the stuff
It's
he
really
did.
pretty
Yeah,
shocking. Yeah, and yeah, I mean, there's as you said, the list goes on. There's a lot of things I found very shocking in that.
yeah,
But great television for sure. I think a lot of people were riveted to that one, and I also found kind of interesting that it was a film within a film. Like I was kind of taken aback by watching his hubris, by the fact that he was recording, that he had someone, he had someone recording him the
yeah,
whole time. I thought, wow. So this guy in his mind, he's thinking he's got this videographer basically trailing him this entire time.
yeah,
He's gonna have, oh my God, in his mind, he's thinking, I'm gonna be vindicated, and then I'm gonna release this documentary, and it's gonna be like his comeback moment. That's what
yeah,
he was probably thinking, right? When he was doing this. Because why on earth? There's certain things that when people are filming you after a while, you forget you're being filmed. There's this point of where you kind of forget the cameras are there. And I sometimes look at what was shown, I go, damn, like, did he not think maybe let's turn the camera off right now. Like you didn't think about what was being filmed. It must mean that he truly felt like he was yeah, he was producing a documentary about um like a hero's journey. Like almost
yeah.
that's his perspective what it was. Like a man who was about to be vindicated of wrongdoings. And so where he
That's
was at.
yeah. The way his mind works is just Yeah, very delusional, just very power hungry, and
It was
yeah, it
wild.
is
It was
crazy.
some wild
Yeah.
shit. To say. But yeah, no, I thought that was fantastic. I am going to also say one show that I'm surprised, Andrew, you did not bring up, but I know when I say it, you're going to instantly go, "Oh yeah, of course." Got to talk about White Lotus. White Lotus
Oh
was
my gosh. I can't believe I didn't mention that. Okay. That is one of my favorite shows. It's definitely one of my all-time favorite shows, and can't believe I didn't mention it. So I'm glad you brought it up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those ones because it came on earlier in the year. Like
Yeah.
White Lotus premiered in February, right? So it just kind of fell out of our general um I don't know, range. We're kind of thinking about the whole year and there's so much good television this year in my opinion
Yeah.
that it's easy to even forget. Oh yeah, White Lotus kind of was the conversation for so long. I mean, we had several about it. That's how good it was. And
Yeah.
I just want to again just applaud like oh my God, from performances to I think just the comedy, Mike White's direction, his writing, really great show. And I just found out actually today about who might be in the cast for season 4. Have you heard this?
No, I have not.
Okay, so season 4, we know it's going to be in France. We don't know the full casting yet, but a rumor that I heard today, and I think this would be a great sign if they get her. So Helena Bonham Carter apparently has been like in
Oh,
talk.
that'd be amazing. Yeah, that'd be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, if they get her, and then I think there's two other people that they've confirmed for season 4. So Alexander Ludwig, who is from the show Vikings, which I haven't seen,
Oh,
and
okay.
a yeah, have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it. No, no. But I
Okay,
know who
so
he
I'm not
is.
familiar
Yeah.
either. But AJ Machalka as well, who's from the Goldbergs and Super 8, is also going to be in the cast. So this should be really interesting to see where Mike White takes this. There's so much you can do with the French culture that I'm just so excited. It's going to be following another cast and crew at a hotel resort. So
So cool.
um, oh, so cool. It's going to be a great time. And I think I heard something today as well from Mike White saying that although people are probably going to be expecting Paris, he doesn't think he's going to set it in Paris. It's too cliche to do Paris. He's like,
Oh.
he kind of wants to go to a smaller place. So, and French countryside is beautiful. If he does that, I think that would actually be very cool to take it outside of the city and take it to like maybe southern France or like take it to like the Alps region. I just can't wait to see what he's going to do.
Oh, I'd
It's going
love
to
to
be great.
see that. Yeah. I can't wait till
Yeah.
that comes out.
Oh, I'm so excited already. And I want to make sure that if you have something that you want to bring up for the TV side, you do. But I have to also say this
Yeah.
group of things before I lose my train of thought on it. Because I was thinking about TV this year in general. Like, what
Mm-hmm.
was it that aside from the nostalgia piece, because I think you're very right. I think people were searching for things that they felt were like a warm blanket this
Yeah.
year. And the other thing that I noticed this year, I think it's going to continue into next, is I feel like reality TV had a moment this year too, because
Really?
I do, and
Huh.
I'll tell you why. Because this year alone, we had Love Is Blind, we had Love Island, and
Mm-hmm.
that dominated
Love
conversation. Those two,
Island is definitely it was definitely one of the biggest shows of the year for sure. Essential
100%.
watch parties all across the world, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Love it or hate it, love it or hate it, it did occupy some space in our heads. So definitely have to give a shout out to that. And then personally, I also love Traders. I know not everybody who's on board there has seen that show, but it's
Yeah.
phenomenal. And the reason why I'm bringing up those three shows, and there's so many more I could bring up as well.
Yeah.
Um, I think reality TV moved from this like guilty pleasure thing. And in years past, where it felt very much about like physical competition, it kind of moved to this um, like morality testing or like moral theater where like we're trying to figure out like traders for example it's about lying manipulating for money right and
Yeah.
is it okay when is it okay to do that with Love Island well Love Island's really about finding love and whatnot but a lot of the conversations around race around how people presented themselves became kind of
Yeah.
like public perception was public theater and public court and who is in the moral high ground and who isn't that was so much of Love Island, in my opinion, that conversation that I just noticed that theme. And then Love Is Blind, of course, the fundamental question is love blind or how much of like, dating is just based on physical. So I think that's the
Mm-hmm.
question asking. So there's so much of that. So I think reality TV just had a moment this year too. So I want to give a shout out to, even if we didn't think Love is Blind season 9 was that great and it was kind of a
No,
dumpster fire,
it was
it
the
did give us a lot of
worst,
conversation.
in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, not the best, but maybe the best of the worst. And because of that, or the worst of the best, I don't know. But because of that, I think it does deserve a mention on this list for sure.
It definitely
And
does.
yeah. Is there anything else as well too that from the TV side, Drew, that you wanted to mention?
No, actually, that I think we pretty much covered as far as TV. Yeah.
Okay, I've got one more before we move on.
Okay.
Um, I got to put a plug in for Hacks. Hacks is another
Oh
show that I
yeah, that's I didn't watch that yet. Yeah,
so good, so
gonna
good.
get
So
into
season
it.
4 came out really good. If you like comedy, if you like strong female performances, you love it. There's a twisted sort of relationship between the two lead characters, and I think this is the crew that brought us Broad City. The writing is just as sharp and funny, and yeah, I look forward to seeing what they bring next year when it comes back. Fantastic show. So yes, I'll put that plug in there, and then I think probably a lot of people are screaming Andor at us right now too. Um,
Andor, yeah. I should have mentioned Andor. That's one of the best shows of the year as well. You should definitely check it out on Disney Plus. Yeah,
yep, yep. If you haven't canceled,
very underrated as a show, even if
for
you're not a
sure.
Star Wars fan. Yeah,
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, for
yeah,
sure. I think it's also this year really applicable because of all the political turmoil in the world and the
yeah.
constant like, oh my God, what's happening now? What's he doing now? I feel like Andor really does hit because even though it's set in this different kind of time and space, it is very much about again like that idea of like the drama, the political drama and
And the
the
power
tensions. I
struggle.
totally,
Yeah, yeah.
totally. So it hits for sure. But yeah,
Cool.
okay. So I mean, I think we covered quite a bit of television this year, and
Okay.
let us know, Alchemist, if there's anything that we missed that you think we should check out. And we're gonna keep it moving now to the films that had us running to Letterbox this year to tell everyone how much we love them.
I'm excited about this. What were some of your favorite films of the year?
Well, I think I'm just gonna say the most obvious one, Sinners. Sinners, like
Okay. That's your top
just
film of the year?
um yeah, yeah, top.
Hmm.
I have a very close second and third, but I will say it's the top. And I'll say it's the top because
Hmm.
keep in mind this came out at the beginning of the year, right? And we're still talking about it. And I think a lot
Yeah.
of people were surprised and thought that it might lose momentum. I don't think it
Hmm.
has. I think the momentum's picking up again with all of the awards conversations. But yeah, it changed. It's genre bending. It
Yeah.
was just really, really well done from every angle. Like, obviously, Ryan Coogler is extremely talented as a director. There was an amazing cast. Michael B. Jordan absolutely smashed that thing. The whole cast actually was fantastic. The music, uh, incredible. I mean, everything about it was great. And I think historically too, like the, teachable moments that were in that movie, like learning a bit about how everything was weaved in. Like Coogler did
Hmm.
that very, very intentionally. He thought about everything, every symbolic thing that we were looking at was thought about. His own words, I think safe to say, yeah, it was one of those movies, including Coogler's deal. It changed Hollywood filmmaking on the back end as well, right? So
Hmm.
hard to deny that it's yeah, one of the best of, if not for me, I've seen it multiple times already. One of my favorite movies, if not my favorite of the year. Maybe a close second or third coming up, but I'll pass the baton to you because yeah, I gotta say, Chef's Kiss to Sinners all around. Great movie.
Oh yeah, I loved it. It's one of my top films of the year for sure. And it isn't my top film, but it's probably my second favorite film of the year.
Yeah, I
My
think I
top
know what your
film
top,
is One Battle After Another. Yeah.
which is the one I flirted with for my top two. So what made you love One Battle so much, Andrew? Good film, yeah.
Just P.T. Anderson in top form. It's real. I didn't even know what like that movie just like blew me away. Like I didn't know what to expect. It's such
Mm.
like an epic movie. Amazing cast. It's like it's really timely, with rebels and the conspiracy theories and like the political climate as well, and the division in this world, especially all over the world right now. And the performances, Leo's performance and Sean Penn's performance and Chase Infinity and Tiana
Yeah.
Taylor, I think. Uh, like VIP performance in that film too. Her intensity was like off the charts, and it just like it was like an epic movie. And I don't know what the how many hours it clocked, but it's a bit of a longer movie. But it just like the pace of that movie is just insane. Yeah, it has this energy to the film too, and it kind of feels like old school Hollywood filmmaking as well. They filmed it with different cameras as well, like those old cameras they used to use, which they don't use anymore. And it just like it just felt very like visceral. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
well said. Yeah, couldn't have said it better. I think it was so good.
Hmm.
I said Sinner's my favorite, but you know, yeah, One Battle is up there for me too. I just watched it the other day because it's now on television again. It's on Crave for anybody um, who pays for cable, but it's phenomenal. Like upon
Yeah,
second watch, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really, really good. And you're so right. The performances are just the bomb. I personally think
yeah.
it is going to be the best movie. I think it's going to win, sweep up all the awards. I think Sinners will get its
Hmm.
due in different
Yeah, I hope it
categories, but
does. Yeah,
best movie, best director, I think is going to go to One Battle and it's going to go to PTA. And I also think Tiana Taylor might actually win an Oscar. She may
yeah.
actually be in the mix for this. And like, which sounds wild, but to your point, like, yeah, she was not on there very in their movie very long, but she made such an impact when she was on the screen.
Yeah.
Um, just remarkable. And then Chase Infinity too, like you said, fantastic. So yeah, One Battle's fantastic, and also great score. So Johnny Greenwood, much respect. I love to see that too. Like as I said, I watched the other day and I was like, yeah, this is
Yeah.
killer. Like it just keeps you riveted and like um phenomenal performances all around as well. Benicio del Toro, I mean, absolutely crushed in that too. And Leo,
Yeah.
yeah, this man is the man. He's kind of the man. I really
I think
loved him
he's
in
going
this
to get
film.
another Oscar, Leo, potentially this year. Um, it's just I saw some interviews with him and P.T. Anderson. Apparently, like that one brought after another. There was so many influences for that film. Apparently,
Mm.
Star Wars is one of the influences of that film.
Oh
Good
wow.
versus evil. Sean
Okay.
Penn is Darth Vader. Princess
Oh yeah.
Princess Leia is Chase Infinity, and
Yeah.
then Obi-Wan Kenobi is Benicio del Toro, and Leo is
Yes.
Luke Skywalker. Isn't that's an interesting influence on the
Wow.
film? Yeah,
I totally see that. I
yeah,
totally
yeah,
see that.
yeah.
Wow, that's
That's
so
pretty
layered and
crazy.
rich. Well, it makes
Yeah,
me like it even more because I was gonna say
yeah,
one of the things I thought was super cool about that movie is the relationship with Leo, Chase Infinity, and Sean. That sort of that
yeah,
odd triangle. And like this is another movie because this was another theme this year in movies. One that I'm going to talk about later also had a theme about fatherhood and like the complexity of fatherhood. And I
hmm,
think that's so true when you bring up Star Wars. I'm like, yes,
yeah,
yeah, of course, right? Wow, that's very cool. And there's a reason why I think it hit for so many people. Like you could enjoy it, like you said, a good popcorn movie, and just sit there for 2.5 hours and just be um just just honestly captivated by the
yeah,
visuals. You could go deeper and then look into some of the parallels, like you said, around what's happening in that movie
yeah.
and maybe what's happening today. Very, very good movie.
And
Yeah.
just like you said, it's a father-daughter story. It's a conspiracy
Yeah.
thriller, and it's also kind of like a dark comedy too, as
Yeah,
well. Yeah,
absolutely. I love
it's
the darkness
wild.
of the
Yeah,
comedy. It really was
yeah.
wild. You're right. That yeah, very nuanced movie. Um, okay, so yeah, can't argue with that pick. One battle after another. Fantastic movie. Sinners up there too. And then I have a few more that I actually want to bring up as well. Um, I'll do one. I'll pass it to you if you have anything you want to add. But I don't think you'll disagree with me on the next one.
Okay.
Frankenstein.
Yeah, that's
Frankenstein
probably number three on my list of best of the year. Yeah.
Frankenstein's up there for me. I've seen it again now on
Mm-hmm.
Netflix. It still holds
Essential
up.
viewing. Yeah.
Absolutely. And to your point, I know how much you love Jacob Elordi. I think this is making me like Jacob Elordi, which is so wild to say, like, because he's obviously in this movie, he's not Jacob Elordi. But I just have so much respect for how he played the creature because I think this was like the movie that Guillermo del Toro was like born to do. Like
It
he was
should
born to
win
do
for
this.
best special effects because best makeup. It has to win for best
Mm.
makeup of the at the Oscars because making Jacob Elordi look like a terrifying creature. Do you know how much work that they have to do to make that happen? You know.
I know, and it says a lot about the fact that it was believable because I think he brought such a I don't know how to explain it. Like this is just a lot of emotion and depth in the performance in it.
Yeah.
In Jacob's eyes, like how he delivered was did so much with so very little, and he was
Yeah.
doing a lot with very little. And I think like there was both an innocence around the creature, and then at the same time, he also brought this like he's this angel of vengeance too.
Hmm.
It- Balancing those two things, I thought he was just brilliant in that. And the more that I see the movie, I kind of go, damn, yeah, he actually really should be awarded something for this. Like the nomination is very well deserved for sure.
Yeah, he has to get not at least nominated for the Oscar. Oh, it's an amazing performance. He doesn't say a lot, but yeah, like you said, like through his eyes, through his movement, his childlike behavior, and almost like an animal at
Yeah,
some points as well. And the intensity he brings is amazing. Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty remarkable. And yeah, he did get nominated. He's got nominated for the Oscar for this. So we'll see what
Okay.
happens. It's going to be a tight race there. Okay, it's up to you now, Andrew. Is there anything else you want to talk about on the film side?
Some other favorite films of the year. Weapons is my
Oh yeah,
favorite horror movie
oh
of the
yeah.
year. Aside from Sinners, it's a tale of
Mm,
unexplained disappearance of 17 children in the middle of the night, and it's different narratives throughout the film. You know, reviewing different events. From different characters' perspectives. Julia Garner stars as plays the teacher of the students in the film. Josh Brolin puts on a great performance as one of the fathers of the students, and then just the payoff of the end of that film. You haven't seen it, right?
no, I haven't seen it
The
yet.
payoff of that
Oh,
stays with you for long after.
okay.
So it's an essential viewing. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, it really cuts deep at the end of it for sure. Yeah.
Okay, I always circle it on my television, and I'm gonna make that happen on the break too. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned weapons, because yeah, that's definitely one that I've heard a lot of great buzz around. So thanks for bringing in some more horror. Okay, I got a couple more, and one that I think is another one that people can really easily access if they have a
Mhm.
Netflix subscription, and one that maybe a few people may have missed, but I think it's going to be back in the conversation again as we get closer to certainly all the award season um, convos. Train Dreams, like I don't know how
Oh
to say
yeah, that's on my list. Yeah.
that movie is spectacular. It's actually I would say if I yeah, definitely one of my favorite of the year for sure. Um, Train Dreams is just like
Hmm.
it's kind of like how to even explain it? Well, basically, okay. So Train Dreams really it's a movie about um the life and times of a logger and all of the things that they have to sacrifice along the way um to help us build essentially our country, right? These are the people that build the railroads and like all the things that happened while they were doing it. So you get introduced to a cast of characters who, honestly speaking, some of the best performances I've seen this year. I think Joel Edgerton. I think he did get nominated actually for an Oscar for this, and I'm happy because he was phenomenal. He basically supports most of the movie, most of the runtime, and it's dreamy and atmospheric, and yeah, William H. Macy's really fantastic in it too. It's honestly such a good movie, and so
Okay.
it's totally worth the buzz. Definitely a must watch. I thought it was a beautiful, beautiful movie and a beautiful score too. Just very dreamy and ethereal movie. Um, and it stays with you. It really stays with you, this movie, after you see it. So I have to say Train Dreams definitely one of the best of 2025, 100%. Very surprised by that and
Oh wow.
pleasantly
Okay.
so. Yeah, yeah. Um, so we've got yeah, a good mix of movies here, which again tells us that there was another really strong year at the cinema. I've got to do two more before we keep moving to some
Okay.
of our top moments. But did you want to sneak one in there? I don't know if
Yeah, well, I got a couple. Warfare is a movie
yeah.
on Prime. Um, it's
Oh.
hard to watch. It's basically, it's the director actually was in the Iraq War, and it shows you how terrifying war is, and it's definitely realistic, and it's an
Mm.
intense movie to watch. But I was blown away by Warfare, and I think it's one of the best films of the year. And then also a film which is I like my comedies as well, and kind of I liked it. I liked it a lot, and I thought it was kind of like a different take on the buddy comedy of the '90s. It was very heavily influenced by Friday. I really like One of Them Days
Oh
with
yeah.
SZA and Kiki Palmer,
Yeah.
who have amazing chemistry in the film.
Mm.
It's about two friends whose one of their boyfriends has blown their rent money. So through the whole film, they're trying to get the rent money, and they have amazing chemistry. It's filled with laughter, and I like it's like typically a buddy comedy of the '90s was like two guys, like Friday was, and I like that it's from the female perspective, and I thought it was refreshing, and I would like to see more of these type of comedies. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not surprised you enjoyed that one. It was, like you said, good watch, good chemistry between the
And then
two.
Thunderbolts. I have to mention Thunderbolts. I'm a big Marvel fan, and I feel like Marvel was like for a while those movies were like not hitting and but I feel like Marvel's back on track with Thunderbolts. That's one of my favorite films of the year as well. Yeah,
Yeah, actually, I'm glad you mentioned Marvel
yeah,
because I guess we definitely be remiss not to mention at least one Marvel movie, I think. But I'm
yeah,
glad that you mentioned that one. And yeah, one of them, 12 Days is a great pick as well too. I'm gonna well, I mean, this pick is, I think anyone who's seen it is gonna probably agree, but it's a different vibe. It's a different vibe. Hamnet. Um,
yeah. I
yeah, I
haven't
don't have
seen
to
it
say much.
yet, but I know you loved it. Yeah,
I loved it, and I think the whole theater at the time loved it and loved it in not necessarily a way that like left you laughing at the end, but crying. I think I didn't see a dry eye in the
you
house.
better
Really,
have a
everybody.
box of Kleenex
You do
when you're
need the
going to see
Kleenex.
that movie. Yeah, yeah.
Honestly, beautiful movie. I think Jessie Buckley should, and I think she will win the Oscar for her performance. I'd never seen
Wow.
it. Honestly, it was transcendent. It was a transcendent performance. The
Okay.
movie's good. I like the movie. I love Paul Mescal. I'm a huge fan of Paul Mescal, and he's done
Mhm.
it again. I think he's going to be sort of maybe eclipsed because he kind of does this sad boy movie thing all the time. But he's really good at it. And if you've watched him in
Oh
Sally
yeah.
Rooney's
Oh, I
Normal
love that
People, I
show.
mean, oh
Oh,
my
that's a
God,
great show. You got to
he's
check that out. I believe it's
I
on Prime. Yeah.
I've checked it out. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it, and he's phenomenal in it.
Yeah.
Um, and he does a lot of the same here. Powerful performance, powerful chemistry between him and Jesse Buckley, and I think the two children who play Hamnet. Wow, like I don't know who these kids are, but definitely they have very bright futures. It's a phenomenal movie. I won't say anything more about it. We all kind of know its take on um, basically how William Shakespeare wrote Hamlet, but told through the female perspective. So you mentioned One of Them Days has that female perspective and point of
Hmm.
view. Similarly, here we look at the tragedy of the loss of their son Hamnet through the eyes of the wife primarily, and
Oh
everyone else
wow.
supporting them. It's just gut wrenching and just beautifully done. So I love
Yeah.
this movie. And then the other movie that I think also has a strong theme of family and another one of those movies with daddy issues, presented again beautifully too, because like, gosh, they make such good movies about daddy issues. Um, Sentimental Value. This movie kicked ass.
Oh
I actually just
wow.
went and saw it.
Yeah.
Finally, after many weeks of waiting for it. I didn't see it at TIFF, but I did go see it
Wow.
recently and loved it. I mean,
Okay.
it's definitely worth seeing, but again, like I don't know how it's gonna do at in terms of the acting, like awards and accolades it's going to receive. I think it's already been really, really, really embraced by critics. And if more people go out and see this movie, I'd love to hear from Alchemist and hear their thoughts on this. But I think Stellan Skarsgård, my God, like he's so good in this,
Mm-hmm.
and Renata
Good.
Sottler as well is wonderful in this as well too. And it's a fun movie. It's funny, and it's also the type of movie that it can also pull at the heartstrings as well. Basically, just you've got the father, Stalen. He's a director. He's written this new movie, and he wants to cast his daughter in the movie. His daughter happens to be like a kind of, I won't say struggling, but an actress who's kind of anxiety prone. And when the father returns, he's kind of an absentee father. He returns to kind of work on the relationship with the daughter to get her to do the movie. Emotional chaos kind of ensues. But
Mm-hmm.
it's a wonderful, wonderful film. And yeah, it's definitely in the conversation around the best of the year, without question for me. So yeah, a lot of variety this year in the
Yeah.
theaters. And I think unless there's anything else that we missed that you want to bring up now, Andrew, maybe we'll pivot to our top music moments.
No, those are basically my top films. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Mm. Okay. So then we're going to keep it moving, and we're going to talk about top music moments. And so this is really just like, yeah, what was lighting up the group chat? What were people talking about from the world of music? Maybe you even want to shout out some of the albums that you were grooving to, who are some of the artists. And of course, this can't be an exhaustive list, of course. But yeah, what stood out to you? I know there's a few moments for me that stood out in the musical landscape, but I want
Yeah. It was hard to summarize music. I would say, obviously, at the start of the year, Kendrick Lamar's halftime performance at the Super Bowl, iconic. Shut it down for sure. So that's one of the biggest moments of the year, and the end of that rap battle with Drake as well.
Yep,
And his
yep,
album is one of
yep.
my is one of the best albums of the year, if not the best album of the year. And
Kendrick. Yeah,
yeah, Kendrick's
yep,
album. Yeah.
yep.
Another big. I mean, my favorite album of the year is Bad Bunny, and he's
Yeah, okay.
speaking of
Yeah,
Super Bowl. He's going to be performing
yes,
at this year's Super Bowl, and even if
yep.
you don't speak Spanish, it's just an amazing album. It really goes back to his roots in Puerto Rico, and really celebrates his roots in this album. And I loved it. I can't stop listening to that album. So yeah, those are two of my biggest music moments, as well as Lady
Mm.
Gaga performing at Coachella, and I think she had one of the best albums of the year as well. Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
yeah,
She definitely came back and hit us with something hard. I'm glad you definitely Kendrick. I mean, I put two
yeah.
words down here on my notes. Say Drake. That's all you need to say.
Yeah.
And that was game over. Kendrick
Yeah.
put on a masterclass in
Yeah.
performance, in my opinion, but super subtle, and to the point where we're talking about it almost a year later, and
Hmm.
that many people it did a complete mind f on them.
Yeah.
So I loved it. I think 100% one of the best. I also agree with you. Bad Bunny, that album is so good, and
Yeah. I loved it.
Bad
Yeah.
Bunny had a monster year too. And then of course we do have to. I mean, obviously, I think people would be kind of sick to their stomach if we didn't give a shout out to the Queen. Um, Beyonce had her moment. She finally
Yeah.
won, right, for Cowboy Carter. So that was a huge thing this year for her win for Album of the Year,
For
which
her
was about
country album. Yeah.
performance.
I think even she was surprised at winning, actually.
Yep,
I'm surprised.
yep.
I think she's surprised she won that, and it's definitely long overdue for sure. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. And that's what made it so sweet as well is that she was genuinely so shocked to win it, and you could see
Yeah.
it on her face and how she, was really normally very composed. Beyonce is very composed normally.
Yeah.
Everything is curated. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's very aware. But that was the one moment where I felt like her guard was let down, and I saw like an actual the artist, like the young girl who's like, I can't believe this is happening. And that's really refreshing to see that when someone's at the top of their game like that.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, can't be stopped, Miss Carter there. And then another thing I also wanted to bring up as well. Yeah, I also had Bad Bunny on my list as well, and pissing off Mega. So thanks for hitting that.
Yeah. And
I no no go ahead. I've got a couple here, but go ahead. Did you
oh,
want to answer?
just like his exactly pissing off MAGA, and his obviously ICE is a very heavy thing right now in the U.S. and he's people are upset about he's performing at the Super Bowl for some reason. Some people, I don't understand that one, but I can't wait for his performance. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what he's going to do with that as well too. And no doubt he's going to have a whole slew of stars coming out to
Hmm.
support him.
Hmm.
Um, and I have to mention K-pop Demon Hunters because
Oh
they're
yes, yeah.
great because they
One of the
were a
best shows
phenomenon.
of the year,
Yeah,
and
it's
songs too, and
and song
songs.
Golden. Golden's
Yeah.
up there too. Yeah, I gotta mention the K-pop Demon Hunters as well because also there was the Bad Bunny connection. Like Bad Bunny's episode of SNL that you were talking about actually
Hmm.
featured the K-pop Demon Hunters very heavily and very prominently. And I think that that's another one that you can't think about the 2020 live like
Yeah.
cultural zeitgeist without talking about them at least as an honorable mention. And this was a big year for a lot of tours, right? Like comeback tours. Oasis
Yeah.
came back this year. Coldplay went out this year, and we're going to mention Coldplay a little bit later too when we talk about our top news stories because
Hmm.
obviously they were part of a massive scandal involving a kiss cam. But yeah, their Spheres tour also was a huge tour because people obviously bought those tickets thinking that this is going to be the last time the band's going to be together.
Hmm.
They put on a huge spectacle whenever they tour, and so I think those two are also two big moments of the year in terms of music. I also and I had to think about this a little bit too. I don't remember um how long it's been. Was this the year that Taylor Swift was this year? Was that this year or last year? I can't even remember now
That's
her
one of the
tour.
biggest moments of the year. A Taylor Swift says yes to Travis Kelsey's ring. Yeah, so
The
they're
engagement
engaged,
that rocked the
and
world. You know?
that's going to be a big moment next year when they get married. Yeah.
Huge, and that's going to be huge to see who ends up going on that. The guest list is going to be a very interesting one, I'm sure, because she knows a lot of people, obviously, in Hollywood, and then Travis as well. It's going to be an interesting one. But yeah, Taylor, big year for her. And then I think maybe I'll end on this one, although there's so many that we could mention because I know you're big on Olivia Dean, and she had a big year this year too. She
Oh
was
yeah, huge. Yeah.
gotta mention her, I think. And then Dijon. I think as well he might be someone next year as well. We're gonna hear
Yeah.
more about
One of the
that
best
album as
albums
well.
of the year for sure.
That album's hot.
Oh, he's going to be so huge next year. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think like when I listen to him, I think if Prince and like well to mention another person we lost this year and D'Angelo had a baby, that to
Yeah.
me sounds like what he sounds like.
Oh
So I
yeah.
think he's gonna be so huge. So yeah, we had a big year of music. Actually, honestly, the sisters were doing it pretty well this year. The women were
Hmm.
really giving it. As you said, Gaga was giving it. Olivia Dean. We had tours as well too from a number of different ladies. And obviously Lily Allen came back with a very intimate album about like the whole situation with David Harbour.
Great album. Yeah. And
Really great album.
yeah, I haven't fully listened to it, but it's one of the best albums of the year. Also, Rosalia recently
Yes.
came out with her album, and it's an amazing
Yes.
album too. I would say it's one of the best of the year. Also,
Definitely one
yeah,
of the best of the year too. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Rosalia is killing it too. So I think the ladies were doing their thing
And
this year.
The Clips. We're talking about hip hop. Clips album is one of the best rap albums of the year too. Yeah,
There you go. I mean, the more I sit with it, the more I'm like, oh yeah, and this album, and this
I
album,
love
and
me
this
some
album.
Clips. Yeah.
Like, yeah. I mean, we're really lucky, and I think
Hmm.
my 2026 predictions, which are going to come a little bit later, I'm going to come back to this music
Okay.
moment. So let's park that because we got so much to talk about. But yeah, I've got some predictions on music next year. But what we're
Okay.
going to do first is we're going to talk about our top stories. So, what stood out this year for you, Drew, and what was the media picking up on that you felt made your best of 2025 list?
Top stories of the year is one of my top stories of the year is Blue Jays versus Dodgers in the World Series.
Yep.
The Blue
Yep.
Jays haven't been in the World Series for over 30 years, and all of Canada watched it, and a lot of the world watched it. It's people called it the most exciting World Series ever, potentially. It brought Canada together, and that we needed that, even though they lost.
Mhm.
A lot of people became Jays fan after watching that nail biting of a series. Yeah,
It totally was a nail biter, and I mean,
yeah.
obviously, we covered a lot of it here at the show, and it was exciting, and it really, like you said, it brought so many people together. So that was my number one on my list as well. So I'm glad that
Okay.
you picked that because I was like, Jays, go Jays. That was like
Yeah.
that was a global thing, actually, almost because I talked to friends overseas about this too, and it was pretty electric. Yeah, the Jays are a huge one, and then going from the Jays to another Coldplay hit, but this time they made the news for very different reasons. You know it.
Cold played.
We've all seen it. Yep. Astronomer CEO gets Coldplayed. So Andy Byron and his chief people officer caught in an embrace at a Coldplay concert
Hmm.
in the Boston area, and that led to his resignation and also her resignation and a massive public fallout. That definitely is one of those stories that kept on giving. I think it probably led. I mean, if you're a late night host, you must have just been like, "Oh, thank you," because it just
Yeah.
gave so much material for comics, and I think just went viral for reasons that I wonder if I mean, they can't help what their instinct was, but if they had maybe moved quite literally a little differently, we
Hmm.
wouldn't even be talking about them right now, I think.
No, there's so many memes. It broke the internet. All the video, the content that was created from it. It was just like it was like one of the most shocking moments I've ever seen that went viral. Just randomly caught these two people embracing in the crowd, and their reactions. Because of the reactions, now everybody knows about them and what they were doing. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty big story. I know we talked about it at great length, so I won't go into too much depth here, but obviously we talked a lot about whether it was the reaction was proportionate or not to, what they did, I guess.
It really shows you how everyone is connected through their phones and how, like a viral moment can spread.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The 24-hour news cycle now as well too, right? It's
Yeah.
relentless. Like,
Yeah.
whereas you're right, we would have not really known what they were doing, but now it's almost impossible to not think you're being recorded or watched. Of all the people that could have been caught up in that moment,
Uh,
for them to be caught up is, I mean, I think if if there is anything divine, a higher
mhm.
power, I'm inclined to believe that there is someone up there who has a great sense of humor. So, yeah, that was a
Yeah.
great story. And that was one of mine, as well
Yeah.
as the one that you mentioned earlier, Diddy's Reckoning. I won't talk too much about that, but of course, yeah, that whole Netflix docuseries was one of my top stories in the whole coverage around Diddy. So we're
Hmm.
gonna throw him under the bus one more time, back it up one more time. Diddy has to be part of that for sure.
He's one of the biggest stories of the year. Yeah. Uh,
Totally. What else you got, Andrew? I got a few more.
One of the biggest stories of the year is Stephen Colbert being taken off the air for his comments on Trump. And then
Yeah.
also Jimmy Kimmel being suspended for his comments on Charlie Kirk and the killing of Charlie Kirk as well. They're all connected, and they're all about free speech and censorship and the political climate as well, and the state of the world. It was very concerning, and it was definitely one of the biggest topics of the year for sure. Yeah,
For
very
sure. I'm glad you
divisive.
mentioned.
Very divisive. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, really big stories. So you hit two that I'm glad you mentioned because
Yeah.
they were a monster and had kind of huge implications as well for conversations around free speech and
Yeah.
freedom of expression and like what does that mean? And also the state of late night as well, right? Like
Yeah,
is
exactly.
the,
Yeah.
on the death rattle basically. So that was a huge one. You mentioned Taylor and Travis. That was another one that I also noted as well too, which is
Yeah.
wild that a top story, but it of course is. And then I have to also throw another couple out there that a lot of us did not have on our 2025 bingo card. I
No.
think you know who I'm going to say here.
I think I know, but I have another story
Definitely a
too.
firework. Katie and
Oh,
Justin.
Katie and Justin. Yeah.
Katie and Justin. Yeah, I mean, they well, they launched. She launched into space this year. Big year for Katie, going
Yeah, she's
along
an
with
astronaut now. She's a
yeah, she's an astronaut now. She joined
yeah.
the Blue Origin's very first all-woman flight crew. So that was a big thing for her. And then, of course, she also went Instagram, or I guess, yeah, they did. They went IG official recently, her and Trudeau. So big year for her, big year for those two, I guess. Didn't
Mm-hmm.
have them on my bingo card. But I'm adding it to a top story because it's a story that's still it's still giving, and people are still fascinated by this, and
Mm-hmm.
they seem to be I don't know, they seem to be doing well. I mean, as much as you can tell what's going on in the relationship, they seem to be happy, and that's the key thing. I really see both of them have tricky years because I think she got a lot of backlash for going up in
Mm-hmm.
space, and
Yeah, she definitely did. Yeah. And he's
people
got a
kind of
lot of
found
backlash as well, so they
yeah,
they can definitely
yeah,
relate to that for sure. The
nothing
pressures.
but
Yeah.
backlash. So I'm
Yeah.
happy for them because I think they probably
Yeah.
that's part of the reason I think they may have even connected, right? Because
They can
they went through
understand.
these very
Yeah.
public sort of like um, sort of public scrutiny maybe brought them together,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm happy for them. So yeah, that's a big one. And then the LA wildfires back in January, it was another big
Oh,
story as
yeah. That wasn't on my list,
right,
but that was huge. Yeah.
huge story and huge impact on Hollywood in general. But then I think the question around like how do you prevent this from happening again, and just
Yeah.
climate change around that because obviously that's something that impacts a lot of people right now also in Canada too, especially in the
Mm-hmm.
West. So yeah, that was a big story. And then my last one for me, I kind of have to mention this, and it's still evolving, but it's
Yeah.
kind of much ado about nothing, in my opinion. Once we find out what's actually in these things, it's kind of like, wah, wah. But the Epstein files, I think that
Oh,
was just something
wow.
definitely dominated the news cycle. I mean, we just heard recently that they actually cracked that baby open. It's
Yeah.
basically like mostly redactions. But there were some interesting little things in there. I mean, there was like some photos of, I mean, you totally knew he was going to be in there. But Clinton, of course, was
Of
all
course.
up in
Yeah.
that thing.
Living his
And
best life. Living his best life in the Epstein files for sure.
living the Vida Loca, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And him and the great, interesting cast of crew. Of course, the former Duke of Windsor was in there. I mean, we all knew that. But
Yeah.
Michael Jackson, Diana
Mm.
Ross, were all included
Okay.
in the release and being named. But doesn't mean that they were not necessarily guilty of anything, but they were
Yeah.
just in the mix. Let's just say. And then Trump surprisingly seems to be skating on this one because although there's a couple of things that claim that Epstein
Yeah.
introduced Trump to like a 14-year-old girl at Mar-a-Lago, his name's not really in it much, which might explain why he said, yeah, F it, release it, because he kind of knows the redactions are going to save him. Um, Still evolving, but yeah, that was a big
Yeah.
one. Epstein files was kind of out there lingering like this constant threat, right? So
It's still evolving and yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say where that's gonna go or if anything is gonna come of that.
mm,
And definitely Trump was he obviously, is seen in those conversations and the text messages and the pictures as well. So he had a lot he was enjoying those parties as well for sure, it
oh
seems
yeah,
like. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
he was in the mix. He was in the
He was in the
mix.
mix for sure.
I
Uh,
know he
and
had
there's
something
another
going.
story, which I'm surprised you didn't mention, but this is definitely one of my top stories of the year, and it will develop into next year as well. Netflix purchasing Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Huge implications for media, for film, theaters as well. I know Christopher
Mhm.
Nolan is very much against this this huge this huge uh, this huge buy because Netflix is not really into, it sounds like, theatrical runs. So that's going to be interesting to see how it evolves as an industry. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. My gosh,
Yeah.
it's like right there, right? So I just
Yeah. Yeah.
found it. But yeah, yeah, huge story that's still evolving. So we'll definitely be
Yeah.
talking more about as it evolves. And I'm glad that you ended actually with that one because yeah, you're right. That's a huge story that's going to have so many more ripple effects than we can even imagine right now. And I think we'll end with that one. But before we do, I wanna see what your thoughts are about 2026. Like what,
Okay.
if anything, do you think might happen? And that can be in any respect, in in terms of music, TV,
Mhm.
movies, what you think will be big next year, who's going to be on everyone's lips next year, what trends might be huge next year. If you want to take a wild guess and kind of play Nostradamus here and talk about what's going to be happening globally, feel free. But I've got a few predictions here that I am so certain of. I'm
Wow.
so
Okay.
certain of
Your
that I'm going to
crystal
make a
ball.
bold statement. I'm going to read the tea leaves on this right now, and I'm going to be so happy to play this back next year in a recap with a reaction at this moment. Mark my words, I know at least three things that are going to happen next year. I'm fairly certain. But do you have
Uh,
anything
uh,
off the dome
I
that
can't wait
you
to see where your crystal ball shows for
yeah,
next year.
yeah.
Um, it's tough to predict. I mean, next year, one of the big things is 2026 is going to be one of the best years for film, for
Mm,
big movies. Doomsday, right? We
mm.
got Street Fighter coming out. We got Mortal Kombat, Odyssey. The trailer just dropped. Christopher Nolan's Epic,
Ah,
which
yeah.
amazing cast and phew, yeah, I feel like there's so many other movies coming out next year. It's pretty crazy, the list. But I think it's going to be one of the, like, people are going to go back to movie theaters in large numbers, and I think it's a big year. Oh, Spider-Man as well coming out in July, so
Mhm,
that's going to be another
mhm.
banger for sure. Um, they're calling it the one of the best years as far as roster for films, and so that's going to be big. And also think there's going to be a big issue is going to be AI continues to develop, and filmmakers using AI and filmmakers against the use of AI, and just seeing how it affects every type of industry. And that's going to be huge in 2026, as well as yeah, more artists kind of being like, talking about the political changes. I feel like,
Mm,
unfortunately, I think there's going to be more division, based on the political climate. And I think there's going to be a lot of artists, voicing their opinions, yeah, through that as well, through their art, and speaking out, and standing up for what they believe in. Yeah.
good predictions.
That's
Yeah,
what I
good
would say.
takes on that one.
Yeah.
For sure, for sure. I don't disagree, and I think just piggybacking off what you just said about artists using their platform, uh,
Hmm.
here's one prediction. I am I'm so certain of it. I have no proof of it other than
Okay.
the fact that there's a big anniversary coming up next year. Next year marks 10 years since Rihanna released
Oh,
Anti.
wow. Wow.
Mark my words, people. You're hearing it right here. Mark my words. I am looking into my crystal ball. She's going to drop new music. People are so thirsty for it. They've been
Hmm.
begging her for it. I think that
Yeah.
makes sense because 10 years is the perfect anniversary for it. And then I think about this year, like if you look at what happened with ASAP, right?
There are
Her partner
couple
has had a
goals.
big
Yeah.
year. Yeah,
Yeah.
he had a big year this year. This year was all about him. He was honored for his as a fashion icon. He had the
Hmm.
Met involvement. He had at least two movies out this year, to critical acclaim. He's had a big year music wise. He's
Hmm.
hosting, or not hosting. He's actually on SNL next week, as
Yeah.
well as music guest to kind of round out the year. Big year for him. So what it means, why I'm bringing it up now, is because I think Rihanna supported her man last year, right? She was on the carpets, kind of there, but in the background doing her thing, and just being fabulous as a support.
Mhm.
So why I think that matters next year, watch. It'll be her year. Next year, he's going to be supporting her while she's out
Mm.
doing something
Okay.
related to Auntie. I just know she's a smart woman. She's not doing anything until she's ready. And I think she'll capitalize on a decade anniversary is just too big not to do something with it. So she might not drop off a new album, but she's going to do a master of something. She's going to be
Yeah.
out there next year. So you'll be very happy. She's going to be out there in a large way, I think, next year. And
I would love
I
to
also
see
think,
that. Love to see
yeah,
that.
yeah. You and I both. I think it'll be a year for the ladies again. We're gonna see a lot of Zendaya as well too next year. She's gonna be
Yes.
everywhere. And also Tiana Taylor. I think Tiana Taylor is gonna have a monster year this. Well, she had a good year this year. I think she's gonna have a great year next year. I don't know what that's gonna look like, but I think she's gonna be around as well. We're definitely gonna see more of her too. So I
And
think
I
that's
think it's going to
exciting.
also be the year of Olivia Dean as well. I mean, she's already,
Oh, okay.
she's going on her tour next year, and everybody's
Yeah.
talking about her from fashion, on the red carpet to her music. I think it's going to be a massive year for her for sure.
Yeah, that's a good call. Yeah, I could see that as well too. And then another a couple that I think is going to have a big year. This is my other prediction that if I were to put any two predictions on the wall right now and go, I will put some money on this one. Megan the Stallion and Clay Thompson, they will get engaged next year. Check
Okay,
that as well.
I
See
can
it?
see that
I
happening
feel it.
actually. Yeah.
I see it. When I see them online, I'm like, these guys are so cute together. I just really love the energy they have together. And also, Megan's had some rough years, man. She's had a tough time
Yeah.
in the past as well. And I think I was gonna say he's good for her, but let's be real, they're good for each other. I think they're gonna get engaged next year. I'm absolutely
Okay.
shipping that. I
They
see it.
seem
So
very happy. I see them on the line. Yeah, they seem very happy together. Yeah.
yeah, they're good together. That's a good union there. So yeah, I think those are some really interesting ones for 2026. I guess time will tell, obviously.
Hmm.
But yeah, some likely it's going to be another big year for the ladies, I think. And 2026 should be interesting as well. Like I know this is really a culture show. Every once in a while, I'll throw in my takes based on my, kind of my interest in, astrology or my interest in just generally what other people are saying about, yeah, the vibes celestially. I just
Yeah.
saw say that like 2026. I know, but whatever. I like it, and I think it's fun. And not
Okay.
everyone's gonna get this, but like I do think there's something to it because like this year of the snake in the Chinese zodiac,
Hmm.
shedding things that no longer serve and metamorphosis, and I think we're seeing a lot of that like in systems. We're seeing a lot of that in the artistry as well, and I think next year I've heard if there's any substance to this at all, that it's going to continue, and that actually February in particular, February is supposed to be some kind of. A lot of people are predicting it's going to be a huge month. Something major is going down. And the last time this type of like pattern was
Really?
there for astrologers, they were saying the Berlin Wall fell. So a lot of them are
Oh
predicting
wow.
like February, March, some major system is going to topple. So maybe you're talking Netflix earlier. Maybe it could something like that around pop culture. Maybe it'd be something innovative that we're not really seeing
Interesting.
just yet. Yep. So I'll be interested if that does happen. I've seen a
As
couple
long as
people
it
talk.
doesn't happen on my birthday in February.
I'm gonna say you're,
Okay. All
yeah,
right.
well, like it'll be memorable. It'll be memorable if that's the case.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I guess time will tell, and we'll see what happens. But man, it's been a ride. I can't believe that we're at the end of the year already. So I
Hmm.
do want to take this time as we're wrapping up now to well, thank you, Andrew, for for guess doing this thing with me, and
It's been a great year, and I feel like 2026 is gonna be an even better year, um, for the podcast, and also I want to thank our listeners too. Anyone who's
Absolutely.
just seen our clips on Instagram or checked us out on YouTube, we really appreciate it. And yeah, we hope you keep listening into 2026, and we hope we'd love to hear about what you thought of 2025, and what were some of your favorite albums, what were some of your favorite films, and what do you predict for 2026? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to see what 2026 has in store. And I do agree, Andrew. I think we wouldn't be here without our listeners. And so thank you to those of you who are still with us, rocking with us, whether you're a new or old listener. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the show. Let us know. Like, subscribe, get at us. And thanks for joining us. And happy holidays, however you choose to spend
Happy
them.
holidays.
Yeah. And anything else they should do before they go, Andrew?
Don't forget to subscribe. You can find us at culture_alchemy on Instagram, and check us out on YouTube at Culture Alchemy. And
well, you know how this ends. We end this kind of the same way every single time. I'm going to do it a little flair this time. Happy holidays. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Good energy around that, I hope. And until next time, alchemists,
stay curious.